What's up, folks? Rich Van Tassel. Going to try to get a few of these game recaps in for now week 16 of the NFL season. I'm only doing this one first because it's one of the first games that went final. The New York Jets, well, they got hammered by the New England Patriots. I am not sure if Todd Bowles coached in this game. I will try to find that out in just a minute. But the box score first, Ryan Fitzpatrick came in because Bryce Petty got hurt, 8 of 21, 136 yards. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Bryce Petty was 0 of 3, no touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Bilal Powell, top rusher, 15 carries, 60 yards, 4 yards per rush. Kyrie Robinson, 8 for 22, 2.8 yards per rush. The team was 29 of 111, 3.8 yards per rush altogether. Quincy Enunwa, the top receiver, 1 for 30. Brandon Marshall, 2 for 28. Sharon Peak, 1 for 27. Devin Smith, 1 for 20. So you had a lot of guys who only caught passes. They got a few yards on those receptions, though. Kyrie Robinson lost a fumble. Going back and forth here, watching the Bills in overtime. Only 1 sack. It was Muhammad Wilkerson. Muhammad Wilkerson, one of those guys the Jets will need in the future. Nick Folk, 1 for 2 in his field goals. He missed a 30-yarder early in this game. For the Patriots, Tom Brady, 17 to 27, 214 yards. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Jimmy Garoppolo did come in. At that point, New England wasn't interested in passing the ball much. He went 1 of 2 for 6 yards. Deion Lewis, top rusher, 16 for 52. LeGarrette Blount, 20 of 50. The team altogether 40 of 114. 2.8 yards per rush. So to score 41 points and not run the ball that effectively, you'd say, how is that possible? But when you're up big like they were and the Jets know you're not really going to pass, that's how those numbers come down like that, because you keep running. Julian Edelman, top receiver, for 5 for 89. James White, 3 for 32. Malcolm Mitchell, 3 for 29. Martellus Bennett, 2 for 19. And Matt Langle, 1 of 18. They both had the remaining touchdowns. Malcolm Butler recovered a fumble. Tom Brady fumbled and recovered his fumble. They had 2 sacks. One of them was split between Jabal Sheard and Alan Branch, the defensive tackles. Malcolm Butler, 2 interceptions. Eric Rowe had 1 interception. Stephen Gostkowski, 2 for 2 in his field goal. So we'll talk about the Patriots first. They're still fighting for that home field advantage. They came out and really hammered a Jets team who did not look sharp. I want to see if Todd Bowles coached, because I think that's important to note, because there's a lot of talk about whether or not he should be fired, this, that, and the other thing. If he didn't, though, I don't think he should be fired, but it just shows, especially if he didn't coach in this game, that this team is just lackluster to begin with. It's not something that you can place on Bowles necessarily. It's just a situation where this team has gotten very poor. All right, next up, I told you to watch out for this game. The Tennessee Titans really dropping the ball in this one, losing 38-17 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now a win by the Houston Texans tonight will clinch the division for the Tennessee Titans. All right, we just saw a game gone final. We'll do that next. We'll now clinch the division for the Houston Texans. Marcus Mariota got injured in this game. He was not very effective prior to that. 8 of 20, 99 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Matt Castle came in 13 of 24, 124 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. DeMarco Murray, top rusher, 14 carries, 42 yards. Derrick Henry, 4 for 13. That's 3 yards and 3.3 yards per carry, respectively. Tennessee's top receiver, Tajay Sharp, 3 for 48. Harry Douglas, 5 for 48. Rashard Matthews, 3 for 31. Delaney Walker, 3 for 22. Matthews and Walker both had the touchdowns. Denoris Searcy recovered a fumble. Matt Castle fumbled and recovered it. They had 1 sack. It was Sean Spence. No interceptions. Ryan Suckup, 1 for 1 in his field goals. For the Jaguars, Blake Bortles, 26 of 38, 325 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Hey, you can say, where was this short Blake Bortles the whole season? But again, the running game, as we'll get into right now, we'll give you that, and then we'll talk about Blake Bortles. 14 of 45 for Chris Ivory, 3.2 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Corey Grant, 9 of 27, 3 yards per rush. Altogether, the team 28 of 84, which is 3 yards per rush, average exactly. And they had 1 touchdown. Allen Robinson, top receiver, 9 of 147. Chris Ivory, 4 for 69. Brian Walters, 5 of 45. Marquise Lee, 3 for 37. Blake Bortles caught a 20-yard touchdown pass. Jeremy Parnell recovered a fumble. Chris Ivory lost a fumble. Blake Bortles fumbled once, was not lost. The team had 3 sacks. Jalen Ramsey had an interception return for the touchdown. That was the icing on the cake. Jason Myers 4 for 4 in his field goals. So as far as the Jaguars, like we said, they still didn't run the ball. So Blake Bortles, he had a good game. But to say where is this all season long? Well, when you're not running the ball effectively, this is what will happen. As for the Titans, I wasn't surprised by this at all. They came out, a team that is not necessarily ready to compete, was not able to get the job done. Marcus Mariota was not sharp, of course, his injury. Let's see what happens if Houston is able to lose tonight. That still sets up that game for a division matchup next week, but we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But very disappointing by a Tennessee Titans team that I was really respecting. And the game I just saw going final, as I was giving you that one, the Cleveland Browns getting their first win of the season, 20-17. It was a missed field goal at the buzzer by Lambeau, the kicker for the San Diego Chargers. Phillip Rivers, 24 of 47, 321 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Kenneth Farrell, 9 of 28, 3.1 yards per rush. Ronnie Hillman, 8 of 7. The team, 18 of 35, 1.9 yards per rush. So really struggling without Gordon in the game. Antonio Gates, top receiver, 8 of 94. He had a touchdown. Travis Benjamin, 3 for 75. Tyrell Williams, 4 for 64 and a touchdown. Phillip Rivers recovered a fumble he had. The team had 9 sacks. Darius Philon 1. Damian Square 2. Joey Bosa, I believe, had 2. Corey Toomer, Melvin Ingram both had sacks. Another one was split. So just sacking all day long, the Cleveland Browns. No interceptions. Josh Lambeau 1 for 3 in his field goal, so he missed 2. Another one was blocked, so the last 2 chances they had, a blocked field goal and a missed field goal, could not get the job done. Robert Griffin III, 17-25, 164 yards. Cody Kessler, 2 for 3, 11 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions either way. Isaiah Crowell, 16 carries, 54 yards, 3.4 yards per rush, 2 touchdowns. Robert Griffin III, 6 of 42, 7 yards per rush. The team, 29 of 124, 4.3 yards per rush. Gary Barnidge, the top receiver, 5 for 42. Terrell Pryor, 3 for 36. This is receiving. Andrew Hawkins, 1 of 21. No sacks. Jamar Taylor did have an interception. It looks like no fumbles either way, so they avoided the turnovers altogether. That's how you win in this league. Cody Parkey, 2 for 2 in his field goals. So obviously San Diego, without the running game, really bit them in this one in the missed field goals, of course. But you miss 2 field goals when you lose by 3. Obviously that's going to be an issue for the Cleveland Browns. Hats off to them. Give them credit. They didn't turn the ball over, and they were able to run the ball in this one and get their first victory of the season. Washington wins to go to 8-6-1, still keeping their playoff hopes alive, but they'll need to win next week, and they'll need help, of course. It was 41-21 over the Chicago Bears. Chicago drops to 3-12. Kirk Cousins, 18 of 29, 270 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Mac Brown, top rusher, 8 of 82, 10.3 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Robert Kelly, 19 of 76, 4 yards per rush. Kirk Cousins, 5 of 30. The team, 35 of 208, 5.9 yards per rush. Chris Thompson was also 3 of 26.7 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. So the lowest guy was the guy who ran 19 times for 76 yards, which was an even 4 yards per carry. Deshaun Jackson, 5 of 114. Pierre Garcon, 4 for 94. Ryan Grant, 3 for 25. Chris Thompson, 1 of 17 with a touchdown in the receiving game. They had 1 sack. It was Preston Smith, not Ryan Kerrigan. Josh Norman, 2 interceptions. Bashar Breeland, 2 interceptions. Will Blackman, 1 interception. So obviously Matt Barkley was not good. Dustin Hopkins, 2 for 2. Going to Matt Barkley, 24 of 40, 323 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So clearly the worst game of his career. Jordan Howard, 18 carries, 119 yards, 6.6 yards per rush. Jeremy Langford, 7 of 19, 2.7 yards per rush, 1 touchdown. Cameron Meredith, the top receiver, 9 of 135. He had a touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey, 5 of 92. Deontay Thompson, 3 of 34. The team had no interceptions. And Connor Barth missed his only field goal. Now, I was expecting that the secondary for the Washington Redskins would have a few more problems. I expected the Redskins to win, but I figured Barkley would have played a little bit better. Obviously, that was not the case. And Washington came away with the victory. What to make of Matt Barkley for the Bears now? You have to expect at some point, in his growing pains, he would have this. So I would take it with a grain of salt. He's still, you take off the 5 interceptions, his numbers were not terrible. Granted, they were forced to pass a lot as well. Some of those interceptions came very late when they knew they were throwing. So I wouldn't put too much stock into what happened with Matt Barkley in this one. It's a situation you just got to take and move on. All right, so we'll be back in a few minutes, continue and finish up the rest of the 1 o'clock time slot games, and then move forward from there. We'll see you all in a little bit. Thank you so much.